Member for Beekman.
Acting Speaker. I'm pleased to rise today to contribute to the Metropolitan Region Scheme Beeliar Wetlands Bill 2021. The member for Riverton speaks the most sense that I've heard in a long time on this topic, and he shares with me the experience of a campaigning in Bateman and in Riverton on this issue, where the Liberals went hard at it to make this something that was divisive in our community. Information was presented that was blatantly incorrect in many instances. And I did have some points to make about the environment because, of course, they're fundamental to the Beeliar Wetlands Bill, and they're critical to our urban environment to protect the remnant wetlands that we have in Western Australia and in Perth. So that is very important, but the point has been well made. So I'm also going to speak to what the Liberals did say that they were going to do during the 2021 campaign. And I want to labour on it because, excusing the pun, because the Honourable Ben Morton MP, federal member for Tangney, he's still got something to say about Row 8 and Row 9. He hasn't finished with this topic, Minister for Transport and Planning. He has this to say. He says that the decision by the McGowan Labor government to, in this bill, to see the end to Row 8 and Row 9 is an act of planning vandalism, he said. So I'll unpack that shortly, but I want to go back to what the state Liberals said during the campaign. So this deal here was not the only one that came through my letterbox as a local candidate. I probably got this 6 times over during the campaign. It was just repeatedly dropped in my letterbox and others obviously in the electorate. So I want to start with it. Maybe. Actually, on one day I actually had 3, so I think they just did it all in one day to save time. But so this is what they had to say. So they talked about Labor will rip away the $1.2 billion in federal funding. Yeah, well, because we're not going to build it, so we don't need it. But we are going to use it on other infrastructure projects. They said that this will axe thousands of local WA jobs. Thousands. Well, we've created thousands. I think 88,000 has been created. We've got the strongest economy in the nation, one of the strongest in the world. We've got the lowest unemployment, the highest consumer confidence. Every day in this House, the Minister for Transport gets up and talks about another project that's being destructive because we're delivering, we're building things and we're getting things done. So, no, we're not going to axe thousands of local WA jobs, we've created them. The other claim, we're going to keep, WA Labor will keep dangerous trucks on our local roads. Well, we actually have taken off over 83,000 trucks with the McGowan Labor government's commitment in 2017 to increase the freight on rail subsidy. So we've already taken trucks off the road. We're making our local roads safer and we're investing in the infrastructure to improve the roads and local streets in our area, and particularly around Bateman. They also said, we're going to close Fremantle Port and destroy Coburn Sound with an automated industrial port. Well, as has already been noted today, we are a trading state. Over 50% of Western Australia's exports, well, West Australians' exports, sorry, I'll say it again, contributes to over 50% of Australia's exports. We are the powerhouse of this nation in relation to our exports. And with that, if we want to continue our economy strong into the future for the next generations of Western Australia, we're going to have to deliver an effective and efficient port. And not only the port, but the infrastructure that supports that, the roads that go in and out. So that corridor, that east-west link, is going to be critical to the future needs of Western Australia and of Perth and to our future economy. So if we flip over, we can have a look at what they said that they were going to do. So they did say that they were going to, I need to go back to my notes. They said that the Morrison government is backing WA with $1.2 billion available right now. I'm going to go back to that point shortly. But they also said they're going to create thousands of jobs. I've addressed that. They said they were going to take 74,000 cars and 7,000 trucks off roads. Well, we've already taken 84,000 trucks off. They said they were going to bypass 15 sets of traffic lights. To get where? Where were they going? Bypass them for what? To end up, and if we actually hear what Colin Barnett said in 2017 about this, he said, "There is no Row 10, Mr Barnett said. We are not tunnelling under the Swan River. We are not building super bridges over the river." So I'm not sure where they were going, Acting Speaker. The other claim this makes is that building Beeliar Wetlands was only going to impact 0.49% of the Beeliar Regional Park. How cute to think that you can actually just measure the footprint of the infrastructure and claim that is the impact, and not think that actually building a freight link through a wetland with the diesel fumes and the exhaust and the noise and all of those things wasn't going to affect the rest of the wetlands. So, Acting Speaker, the result of the election stands. 2 elections now, 2017 and 2021, where this has been made an issue by the WA Liberals in my community, in the community of the member for Riverton, in the community of the member for Willagee, and the member for Fremantle, and on it goes. And twice now, the people have said no. They understand. Oh, sorry, but I was going to go back to this because it does talk about the Morrison government is backing WA with $1.2 billion. That's great news. But who wasn't backing WA? The WA Liberals weren't backing WA, because out of a project of $1.9 billion, if you deduct the 1.2 that the Federals were going to put in, my maths isn't my strong point, people who know me well know that, 700 million I get is the amount that needs to be filled. And how much? 2 days before the election, when that excellent policy costings came out, how much did the Liberals have set aside for this project that was so significant to them that they put multiple flyers through letterboxes and they campaign on this? How much did they put aside? $135 million. $135 million out of a $700 million shortfall that they needed to put in to deliver this. But it's not as if they were just talking about planning to do it. They committed to doing it within and commencing it within 100 days. So, in an article aptly labelled WA Today, article, Liberal shambolic election promise cost reveal lacking underlying analysis. And I quote, Shadow Treasurer Sean Lestrange also defended spending just $125 million over the forward estimates on the Row 8 and 9 project, despite the opposition saying it would start construction on the road extension within the first 100 days of being elected. Obviously, we've allocated money in the budget based on the planned rollout of Row 8, he said. It is not my responsibility to actually guess beyond the forward estimates. Mr Lestrange did not say when the road extensions could be completed by. Not much of a plan. And the people in my community who thought that these flyers coming through their letterbox offered them something have been deceived. And like the member for Riverton, when I have conversations directly with those people and I listen to their concerns and the things that they talk about that matter to them, they understand that it isn't fair to push a problem into other areas. They understand that we do have a responsibility as a state government to deliver the infrastructure that's going to support the whole of Western Australia and the future economy of our state. So there is a plan. And I'm pleased that there is because, again, the Honourable Ben Morton asks, so if WA Labor won't build Row 8 and 9, then what is their plan for congestion in the southern suburbs? Well, our plan is to protect our environment. It's to put more freight on rail. It's to upgrade our local roads. It's to invest in public transport, Metronet, and capping fares at two zones. And it's to build the transport infrastructure, including the outer harbour, that's going to support our economy and Western Australia into the future. That is why I am pleased to stand here tonight in support of this bill. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Thank you.